principles of life, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and his life and his companion. So you, inshallah, can go and check it online. And without taking Sheikh's time, inshallah, I will let Sheikh to talk about it.
إن الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه. الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وأصحابه وأزواجه ومن والاه وبعد. فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الحديث حديث محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. أيها الأخوة الكرام وأخوات السيدات السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Brothers and sisters, tonight this is going to be like an Autobahn discussion. You know what that is? Autobahn? For anybody who's traveled in Germany on the Autobahn, you know it's like there's no exits. It's like express. Because we've got 20 minutes and we've got to deliver what we got to deliver in 20 minutes. So you don't really have to be intelligent, you know, this is not an intellectual discussion, you know, and you know, I'm not Michael Jackson, it's not Thriller. So what my job is this evening is just to pass on some advice, a din and nasiha. So I'm going to be talking in my usual way to get to the point, and I'm going to be saying a lot of words, phrases. Don't worry about catching it. The subconscious got it. You know, a lot of times we focus on, you know, what we think is in front of us, but really what is getting to us is in the subconscious. And that's why it's always good to be wide-minded or open-minded, be objective, and that which is good, just let it flow. My job is to kind of remind you of certain phrases and words within the context of good behavior, within the context of the knowledge that we are giving, and within the context of the dynamics and realities of the real world. So it comes from a set of lectures that I've been giving for the last 2 years in particular, called Your Life in the Real World in Real Time. You got that part, right? Your life in the real world in real time. So when we talk about that, we talk about your life. And we talk about planning. Because if you didn't plan your life, don't think it's going to work out okay. That's not where you cook. That's not where you build. That's not the way you count. And that's not the way successful people live. You do live by day, but you need to have a plan because we're supposed to be intelligent people. We're not monkeys. Excuse me, Mr. Darwin. So we talk about life planning, career enhancement. And those who develop a life plan, and just by the way, how many people here have a life plan? Now, before you raise your hand and embarrass yourself, I'm going to define it. Life plan is what you have researched about yourself, your past, your present, what you want to do the next year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. You wrote it, you organized it, you typed it. After double space with the what do you call it? The headers and the footers and the columns, just like an essay that you're going to hand in. Then you took it to a mentor, somebody that you respect, and they looked at it and they advised you. You adjusted it, and from that point you memorized it. So now who has a life plan? See? 1 out of 100 people. Well, when you get a life plan, you find out it changes your life, it changes your friends, it changes a lot of things that you thought that just because you got a master's or a PhD, that you were headed somewhere. And why don't Muslims, I mean, why don't we have any products? I didn't see any cars outside there that's manufactured in a Muslim country. Why? Nobody manufacturing no Muslim watches. Muslims ain't manufacturing nothing. Is it because we are not intelligent? That's not, no, we are intelligent. But we have become followers, consumers. These smartphones in the hands of not so smart people. And why is China, India, Japan, Korea, why are these people producing all the products that we're using? Because they are planning, and then we become a part of their plan. So when Muslims go back to planning, Muslims will return in the front because we already have guidance. But guidance by itself, you know, GPS without no engineering, what is that? So we got the GPS, but we don't have no vehicle. So that's another discussion. Then the other thing we're going to talk about, life plan in the real world. The real world is not the real as you perceive it to be. The real world is not the world that you want it to be. The real world is not the ideal world. It's not the world from nostalgia. It's not the world like you would like to be. It's not La La Land. It's not Disneyland. That's not the real world. It's not TV. The real world is the world as it is, with you in it, understanding where you are in the world, what you can do in the world, and how you can affect the world. Let me give you this example for a moment. How many people know the dynamics of a hummingbird? This is a very powerful, phenomenal bird that can fly at 120 miles an hour and stop dead, just stop like that there. And you can't even see the wings. The wings are moving so fast you can't even see them. This is like a hummingbird, right? So look at the dynamics of a little hummingbird. It's about that big. A hummingbird can fly into the eye of a storm. A storm is coming. Like what do they call those big storms that come and just wreck everything? Tornado. A hummingbird flew into the eye of a tornado that was just 12 miles outside of Florida. And because of just the dynamic of its wings, it changed what? The dynamics of the wind. And that tornado went a different direction. وَمَا يَعْلَمُ جُنُودَ رَبِّكَ إِلَّا هُ. We never know what we can do to change the world if we have confidence, if we have a plan, if we understand the world, what we can do. Then the last thing is about in real time. What's real time? Real time is now. You can talk about the past and what we used to do and what you used to be and what the history, the civilization, all that, but that doesn't count. All that gives you is a reference. Real time is now going forward. And guess what? A second from now is what? Then. Is it? Is it correct or not? So we have to be in the now, and we have to be in the future, as Allah says, وَلْتَنْظُرْ. What's the rest of the ayah? نَفْسٌ مَا قَدَّمَتْ لِغَدٍ. So my talks in the last couple of years is all around this here. We can talk a lot. So tonight, I just want to give you some words surrounding this issue. That as new Muslims, which most of us are, and even if you've been Muslim for a long time, you're a new practicing Muslim. And most new practicing Muslims, they just like new Muslims. If they're really honest. When you find a Muslim that was born Muslim and mother and father and uncles, generations, all Muslims, but they don't know nothing about Islam and they just discovered Islam, they just start practicing Islam, guess what they are? They're a newly practicing Muslim. And guess what? Their challenges, their demeanor, it's almost like a new Muslim. And they can fool themselves because they got a little language, they got some culture, they can fool themselves, but in reality, they should be thankful to Allah that they gave them a new breath and view of this world and Islam. Now that's the beauty of Islam. That Allah, He gives a new, fresh approach. In every generation, Allah gives a new group of people the opportunity to lead. And so don't be thinking to yourselves that Arabs, Asians, and Africans is going to be leading Islam from now on. That's not true. Now, they do have a little jump on us, I say that. They got the Arabic language, you know, they've been eating halal food. You know what I mean? They got his story. And it's a lot of stuff they have, but guess what? Allah, He gives the spirit of this deen to different people whom He wants at different times and places, and they take that spirit, and with that spirit they take the lead. Look at the history. So you have this opportunity in front of you, and you should be grateful to be in the company of brothers and sisters who have been Muslim all their lives, to get the language, to get the disciplines, to get the dogma, to get the exercises, to learn the good of their culture, to be inside their countries, to hear the adhan and all that. But don't go to sleep thinking to yourself that they are your leaders. Not true. While I'm in this country, the government of this country is the Constitution that I have to conform to, and I have to respect and be grateful to. But guess what? As an American, I feel great when I go around the world. Because most of the products and services and transnational corporations that I see and brands that I see is from where? Hello, where? Don't you ain't got to be hesitate to say it? America. America. No, you know, China to a certain extent, but China's a copier. China's not innovator. China is a copier. And Walmart is in the belly of China. McDonald's is in the belly of China. They're throwing away the chopsticks and they're getting online to get a Big Mac. Out of 256 or 260 transnational corporations in the world, 157 are American companies. There's a reason for that, and I thank God to be a Muslim, and I thank God to be an African American. I have a chance to bring a lot of things back to my homeland, Africa, and I have a lot of things that I can bring back to my Muslim brothers and sisters around the world. Now, brothers and sisters, I would just want to give you some words that may help you in your journey in Islam. First thing is sound knowledge. You need to have sound knowledge. If you don't have sound knowledge, you may be wearing beautiful clothes and you might be speaking whatever and living, living large and getting a nice salary and whatever it is, but it's all bling bling. It's all, what do they call it, peripheral. It's all aesthetics. You got to make sure you got sound knowledge of the sources. And to do that, you got to have qualified teachers. I'm sure this center focuses upon making sure that you have qualified teachers, making sure that you have sound, reliable resources that you read, that you make reference to, and also that you have a universal, moderate interpretation of Islam. What kind of interpretation? No, first. Yeah, if your Islam don't fit everywhere, guess what? You got to check yourself out. The rain, when it falls, it benefits the world. When the sun shines, it benefits the world. When the wind blows, it benefits the world. So if your Islam doesn't fit everywhere, and you feel uncomfortable with your Islam somewhere, you got to check yourself, because Islam is universal. Next, moderate. It's about balance. It's about being balanced. Allah, He put things on the earth to keep the earth what? Balance. Allah always talks to us about the middle way. The Prophet ﷺ was moderate in his behavior. This is the deen. Keep it balanced. Keep it real. Stay in the middle. Watch out for the extremes. I don't care how slick it sounds, how powerful it sounds, how emotional people are talking. Watch out for those extremes. Once you start thinking extremely, reacting extremely, you're going the wrong way. This is a moderate religion. It's a dynamic religion, but what? Moderate. Next thing, watch out how you interpret things. Don't be using subjective interpretation, cultural interpretation, personal interpretations. Stick to the script. Islam has its own script. Don't be trying to innovate when it comes to the deen. Innovate when it comes to science. Innovate when it comes, to art. Innovate. But when it comes to the deen, you don't need to innovate, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, Al-Yawma akmaltu lakum dinakum. You don't need no innovation in the deen. Next. Sincerity and good behavior. No replacement for sincerity and good behavior. The Prophet ﷺ, a man asked him, O Messenger of Allah ﷺ, can you tell me some words that if I do it, I couldn't get no better advice from nobody other than you? What did he say? Kul amantu billah thumma Thumma istaqim. Say, I believe in Allah. Arkan al-Islam, Arkan al-Iman, all the things in Islam. After that, Thumma istaqim means what? Stand on what you say you believe. Don't be faking no moves. Like the kids in the street say, keep it real. Be about what you say, be body, body. That's what they say. Anybody say that? Body, body, right? That means be about what you're saying. It's like some ebonics. See? And the Prophet says, Inni bu'ithtu liyutimmu mukarim al-akhlaq. Verily I have been sent, or I have been raised to do what? Perfect noble behavior. Whenever you see Muslims is acting foul, Muslims is acting vicious, when you see the camera and Muslims is cursing and shouting and throwing and this not Islam, this is culture. They are reacting and somebody provoked them, and that's not our picture. The Prophet ﷺ never acted like that. He was always cool. The Prophet was chilling all the time. The Prophet was always resolute. He said, La tabdha. What that means?
Don't be angry.
He said it 3 times. Don't get angry. Once you get angry, you start reacting. Once you're reacting, you're in somebody else's hands. See what happened when the Muslims, what happened with the Muslims every time somebody insult the Prophet ﷺ. We don't care if somebody want to insult the Prophet ﷺ. I tell them, hey, be careful. Watch what you're doing. Hey, watch out. Just flash that amber light on them, because you don't know what's going to happen. You're talking about khayr khalqillah. But I ain't getting angry with you, because inna Allah wa malaikatuhu yusalluna ala nabi. What is salah? Salah is not peace be upon them. Salah means no harm, no corruption can come to him, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala already sealed that. Nobody can do anything to the Prophet ﷺ. Not his honor, not his person, not his legacy. That has already been sealed. So we don't have to be angry. We just tell people that, I don't know why you're saying that. You better watch out. Better think about it. Who you talking about? Better for you to curse your mother than to be cursing the Prophet, any prophet. So Muslims should not be reacting. See how much damage happened when somebody provokes the Muslims. Then what the Muslims do? Muslims, they want to burn the embassy, they want to assassinate somebody, they want to burn everything up, and they just crazy all over. And they're acting like Muslims, or they're acting like savages? Which one? And they want Muslims to act like savages so they can justify what they're gonna do. Because when you're stepping on a roach, nobody minds. So once they make us like that, like savages, once they diminish our integrity, then they can step on us like roaches. They can rape our women, kill our children, and nobody says, well, you don't see how those people act anyway. So don't react. Learn to respond. Have good behavior. Establish good intentions. Deal with people with a positive disposition. Have an attractive character. Be consistent. Keep your focus. Be clean in your appearance. You know, whatever you coming out, whatever you want to wear at home, wear. It's up to you, your family. When you coming out, press your clothes. Be jumping out over the fridge. Come, you know, wash your clothes, put them in the dryer, and just throw them on like that. Come on, man. What you doing? I mean, if you're in a rush somewhere, that's acceptable. But if you're going to business, you're going to the office, you're going to the university, you're going somewhere with people, the oomph of the society is that people is pressed and dressed for business. How you looking like coming out like a bum? Talking about I got taqwa. Nobody can't see inside you, they don't want to even be around you. Clean your nails, brush your teeth. You know, if you've been drinking water and your teeth start changing, man, go to the dentist, man, get you a new set. You can't be grinning on people on so brown, stained out teeth and stuff like this here. Sisters, if you're out of weight, if you're out of shape, go to the gym. Muslims need to be fit, clean, attractive, so when people see you, smell you, and hear you, they want to feel something from you. Say, man, the Muslims, they smelling good all the time, speak good all the time, they smile. Everybody tired, got an attitude. Muslim Abdul and Amatul, they say, how's everybody? They say, man, what they smoking? You got an office, inside your office or desk in your home or whatever, don't make no excuses. Your car, your home, your office, your desk should always be what? Clean. Clean and organized. That says a statement. A person who's clean and organized, probably their life is also what? Clean and organized. Hello, McDonald's. Worst food in the world. If you keep eating McDonald's, you're going to die. But people keep coming because of what? The customer service, the colors, the organization, and they never run out of whatever they're selling. You never went to McDonald's and said, excuse me, we ran out of fries. I got a lot more stuff like that, but develop a dynamic personality. Now, dynamic doesn't mean emotional. A dynamic personality was the Prophet ﷺ. لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ what? أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ لِمَنْ كَانَ يَرْجُو اللَّهَ وَيَوْمَ الْآخِرَ وَذَكَرَ اللَّهَ كَثِيرًا. This means do some personal planning. Plan your life. Don't think that because you're praying 5 times a day, you're making dhikr, because you're reading Quran, because you know some Arabic, hadith, you Muslim, blah, 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 you got it. No. The world is about competition. But before you can compete, you got to learn how to participate. So you got to participate in order to what? Compete. And if you want to win, you can't win if you're not in competition. So what's the 3 words? Participation. What? Competition and what? Winning. Hayya alal salah. Then Allah tell you hayya alal what? Come on, what that means? What does it mean? Allah said get ready to pray and get ready to win. Now if you depressed, you praying and you depressed, your formula is wrong. Something's wrong. You got to check yourself out. Next, be willing to sacrifice. If you're not willing to sacrifice some money, sacrifice some time, you're not going to get what Islam says. Because the biscuits do not rise without yeast. Hello, is that right, sisters? You might get something, but you ain't gonna get no real biscuits. You don't get no cake. It ain't gonna rise up if there ain't no what in it. You gotta put that yeast in there. You gotta make that sacrifice. Invest. You're gonna get something back. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He wants us to sacrifice. Allah says throughout the Quran, هَلْ أَدُلُّكُمْ عَلَىٰ تِجَارَةٍ تُنْجِيكُمْ مِنْ عَذَابٍ عَلِيمٍ تُؤْمِنُوا بِاللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ وَتُجَاهِدُونَ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ Be what? Be what? Be amwalikum wa anfusikum. All the time Allah is talking about mal, which means what? Money, substance, material things. What you got in your hands, okay? Wa anfusikum. What that means? Your ideas, your energy, your blood. Be ready to sacrifice. If you don't sacrifice, you'll get nothing. You got to be in it. Of course, this is it. You know what I'm talking about, sisters, y'all from America, right? You got to be in it to win it. Who said that? Lotto said it. But they took it from us. They applied something that's haram, but that's correct. If you want to be in it, if you want to win it, you got to be what? In it. Got to be in it. Next, competitive spirit. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "Fastabikul khairat." What the word means? What's fastabikul? Sabaqa means to swim, to strive, to compete. You know, see me running. You know, see me. So Muslims is always they got our products, our services, man. We want our products and services to be out there. We want people to buy our products and services. When you go to the supermarket here, how many products and services you got that says Muslims? Our products and services, where they at? We're not in it. We're just consumers. We eat the most. We buy the most, but it doesn't belong to us. You know, maybe food madamis or something like that. You have to have confidence. Muslim have to have confidence. You know, Muslim, wherever you're working at, whatever you're doing, you have to display confidence. Because if you got confidence, other people around you develop what? And the confidence they develop is really like in you. After a while, they be saying like, oh, Sister Fatima. What's it saying? Because Sister Fatima, she graduated at the top of her class. Sister Fatima is an achiever, you know where she's at. You know, Brother Abdullah, he graduated at the top of his class. And everybody was asking him all doing, you know, they were fooling around playing basketball, you know, dancing and singing and all that. When it came down for the test, Abdullah and Fatima was there. So guess who they asking? When you get on your job, you're also performing. When it's time to produce, guess who's producing? So the people who's at the top, the managers, the supervisors, guess who they want on their team. They want Fatima and Abdullah. But if Fatima and Abdullah just wearing hijabs and talking some whatever, they're Muslims, they're good people and all that, but they're getting C+ and B+, that's the rest of your life. Muslims not like that, man. We get A+, and got to add something else to A++. Because we Muslims. We are achievers. We are winners. We set the pace. It's not like that, but it's going to be like that. Say Allahu Akbar. Next. Muslims about achievement. Ask yourself what you have done since last year. If you can't see you did something different from last year, guess what? You're not standing still. The clock does not stop. That means you lost a year and you can't see something that you gained. Next, understand the society in the world. Brothers and sisters, study history, study politics, study societies, study people. Understand the world. Look at a map. Instead of putting up pictures inside your home for your children or yourself, put a map. Put a map of the United States of America. Put a map of the world. Put a map of your country. Put a map of your city. Put maps up on the wall so at least you start getting a perspective as your children growing up. They see themselves, where they're born, their country. They start understanding that it's not about their country. It's about the world. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. This is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sent what to the world? Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. It's about the world. Yeah, it is about us, but it's about us in the world. How you want to achieve if you don't even know the world? How many people are living in this country as workers? You didn't study the Constitution of this country? Why? How ungrateful you are. You come here just to get some more money. You find out, oh, these people give you health. Man, nice home, chilling. I got a big crib, man. I had a roachinette when I was home. Now I got me, you know what I'm saying? Whatever, I'm taking pictures, blah, blah, blah. Got some nice clothes, got some dough in my pocket, driving a nice car. But you didn't study the Constitution of the country? What you gonna give back before you leave? Then that means you're greedy, you're selfish, and you're not gonna get nothing. Muslims is about understanding the world and giving something back. That's what we are known for. And that's why people are willing to follow us, and they don't even care if you're wearing niqab, hijab, kufi, thobe, your name is Abdullah, or your name is Osama bin Osama. If you are a winner, guess what the world loves? Come on, man. Mr. President, Mr. American President, what's his name? Barack Hussein. Give it to him twice. Barack Hussein. Obama, sound like Osama. People didn't care because they wanted a winner, is that right? And if they thought it was a mistake, he won it second time, didn't he? Yeah. See, because he's energetic. You know what I mean? He always, and guess what? If you take and look at his ring when he's talking, guess what's on his ring? How many people know what's on Obama's ring? What? La ilaha illallah. Just go to your Google Gaggle Giggle and check it out. It's there. Allah brought the kalima into the White House with a black man whose name is Barack Hussein. If that's not a sign, tell me what it is. Next one might be Sheikh Khalid Yasin after I married Oprah. I gotta cut that part out. Cut that part out. Don't be laughing, no, we saying winking at each other, telling me, oh man, Sheikh, you don't know. Understanding the society of the world. Solving problems. Muslims are problem solvers. We love problems. Why? Because we got what? Huh? No. Doctors love patients, don't they? Because doctors got the solution. And doctors get paid too. Whoever's afraid of a problem, that means he can't handle it. We can handle problems. As a matter of fact, starvation, lack of water, you know, the issues about the climate control and crime and corruption. We have answers, and we got answers, we got solutions. And if we don't, then that's why we are depressed people. So I say right now, Muslims is the sick people. We got all the potential, but right now we are what? We ill. Like the kids say in the street, man, he ill. And You know, when you see somebody acting silly, say that he illin'. So Muslims is illin'. We just sick, but our potential is there. And everybody knows it, except us sometimes. And the last thing I want to say is, brothers and sisters, we have to learn to provide resources. What's the first ayats of Surah Al-Baqarah? Allah is describing the characters of believers, and at the end of the last 5th ayah, I think it is, he says, وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ. And those who do what? They spend out of what we provide for them. Muslims is providers, man. Muslim men is providers for women. Women, the Muslim sisters shouldn't be working just for some extra money. Our Muslim sisters should be just working for some extra money. Not because they need no money, not with no real men. These sisters must not have no real men. They got to be working for a salary. Allah said, الرِّجَالُ قَوَّامُونَ عَلَى النِّسَاءِ. Well, sister's going to be jealous, but if a brother, he has some money and putting each one of his wives in a villa, they might have some attitude, longitude, or whatever kind of tube they got. But they in a villa and they ain't got to work. Where they going? With an attitude, they ain't going nowhere. But brothers is not men today. Brothers want women that can take care of them like their mommy. That's our problem. We're not real men right now. The Muslim world not producing real men who want to step up, take care, okay, everything back here, okay? We're not able to do that. We can't provide the world. And because we can't provide the world with nothing, we're not confident. Because we're not confident, we got attitudes. We're easy to provoke. We're easy to get angry because it's a mask for our lack of performance. Now that's my analogy. To wrap things up, brothers and sisters, and I don't mind, if y'all want to play this back, but I can, make sure you edit some of this stuff out. What I'm talking about today is a formula for the 21st century. And when I talk to the homeboys in America, you know who the homeboys are, right? Homeland Security. Because when I go back, since I've been to Hargeisa, Somaliland, I've been to Kuwait, Dubai, you know what I'm saying? And they really definitely want to see me. Shake me down and check my phone and clone my computer and ask me the same question. But guess what? I'm answering all the same stuff all the time. Say, man, I ain't doing nothing but good. Hell, Jazal, Yasin. That's sad. Allah watch everything. Y'all watching whatever y'all watching. I'm giving you the same answers, man. What y'all really need to be doing, you need to be following me and seeing what's going on. Because Muslims is trying to change the world for better. And I'm trying to be a good representative of America because I want America to be better, even if it becomes something other than America, which it will at some point. And I tell them all the time, if you guys is chasing me around, I'm 68 years old, you guys is late. You trying to catch me doing something, you should have kept me when I was 18. You'd have got something. You don't get nothing now. So we talking about a formula for the 21st century that's called Islam. Your life in the real world in real time. What we talking about? Your life, you, your family, your society. The real world, the nations, the governments, the global reality. In real time, law, constitution, politics, economy, industry, standards, critical issues, and developing a modern worldview. That's it, brothers and sisters. Look, if you liked it, good. If you didn't like it, it's still good. You didn't pay for nothing. Now, I don't know what the arrangement is. I didn't ask for nothing. But you know what? If I was sitting in this audience and I was given like a shot of adrenaline, of positivity, I would write a check. If the man didn't get no money, no arrangements was made, I would write a check right now for like $1,000. Maybe not 1,000 KD, 100 KD, something like that, But no, I don't need you to write nothing. I need you to just be grateful. I need you to take the advice because it's golden advice. And maybe somebody who didn't organize it this way, haven't been doing this, they will not come and visit you again for a while. So take it for what it's worth. May Allah bless all of you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cause the Tide Center to duplicate itself like a franchise. Like a franchise. do this here, you know, in 12, 15 different countries. And we might make a contribution to a new generation of Muslims and create a new mindset. Yes.
You mentioned that you think that all the brothers are not living up to the standard of a Muslim man in today's society. I think some people might actually acknowledge and say that yes, we've seen this now, not just in the West, in the East, in the Middle East. Why is this, do you think? And how do you remedy this?
Well, you know, Muslims have been destabilized. Muslims have been destabilized. Muslims have been radicalized. Muslims are depressed. You know, Muslims, they don't have a good feeling about themselves. Muslims don't have self-esteem. Okay, Muslim men and women. It's just that the man is built to protect and provide. That's his normal anatomy. That's his mind. That's the way God made him. Whether women, now if women want to be champions and become their own protectors, providers and all that, and mothers and super ladies and all that, that's not normal. That's just what it is. It produces that. So today, unfortunately, because of the last 300 years or so, Muslim men don't feel good about themselves. So they got to get a colonic. They got to think about it. They got to talk about manhood. They got to talk about, you know, they got to set objectives. They got to plan. And women themselves, you know, women have got to help their man with his manhood. Not just taken from him and, you know, like what he ought to do and what your rights are. And, you know, you got to help your man. You got to support your man. You know, if you want a man, you got to support. You got to work for that. Pray for that. When you get a man, he might not be the man that you want him to be, but you got to make him to be that man you want. Otherwise, you're going to be jumping from something to something. You might never find a man. So everybody got a job to do. When I'm talking about the brothers, because I'm a man, I just want to talk to the brothers like that. But I got something to say to the sisters too. Okay? And it's really about, and that's one workshop we got to have too. We got to have some sister-brother workshops, husband-wife workshops, some parent-children workshops, where everybody get a shot to talk like they want to talk, say what they want to say with some parameters, with some rules, until we can get a middle ground. Once we get the middle ground and we are all sincere, we start building each other back where we need to be. Because the deen, we got it, but we're not communicating. That's the problem. So that's what I want to say. And honestly, there are some other clinical, psychological, historical, cultural issues, but we can't address that in one question. Brothers, yes.
What special advice do you have for people of ages maybe 15 to 40, and then from 40 to 60, 70?
Well, I gave that advice. I talked about a life plan. That is the most essential thing. You can pray all day, you can read Quran. I just came from Hargeisa, okay, Somaliland. Of course, it's like a safe part of Somalia, okay? But, I mean, I can tell you this, that 1 out of 5 people in Hargeisa or Somaliland is holding the Quran. All the women is covered completely. I didn't see no naked ladies at all unless they was from Europe, you know, somebody fooling around, something like that, but all of the ladies covered. There ain't no alcohol, there ain't no casinos, no nothing like this. It's one of the most beautiful countries I can come from. But guess what? Lack of resources. So it's a country where people are living on less than $1 a day. So life planning is the issue. If you got a young child, the best thing you can give them besides what you're normally giving them is to give them a life plan. Drill into them the need for a life plan. Let them go to the social media, you know, and learn now what is a life plan and start building a life plan now. That's one of the best things. And as for the older people, it's never too late for you to get a life plan. The Prophet said, if you think that Yom Kippur is going to come right away, what he said do, even if you can plant a tree, do what? Plant a tree. We're not planners. Therefore, we're not initiators. We're followers. We're confused. We're easy to react. You know, and so therefore we're not producing the kind of human beings that the world is willing to follow. I mean, come on, women all over the world, man. They listen to Oprah, and she ain't got no man. I don't want to say why. That ain't my business. I mean, everybody knows, but it's not my business. Women all over the world is listening to Oprah. She got more influence than the Queen of England. But she ain't got her own act together. Young girls was listening to, you know, Lady Gaga, who some people say ain't even no lady. Beyonce. She came to Dubai with a fishnet stockings and some plastic drawers on, and they paid her like $3 million. And our girls is want to wear, you know, Lady Gaga stuff and Beyonce or whatever. So that means something's wrong with their what? Self-esteem. So there's some things that we got to look at in reality to correct ourselves, our behavior, our character, you know, our focus, what we're looking at, our vision, what we want to see for the future. Where do we see ourselves? That's what I think that the older generation need to get with their social media. If they want to be in touch with their children, they need to be in touch with that social media, because if you're not in touch with the social media, guess what? There's a difference between you and your children's mindset like the Pacific and the Atlantic Ocean. The only thing you got in common, you eat the same food, live in the same house, you look the same, got the same name, but the thinking process is way out there. So the old generation, the OGs as the kids call us, the OGs need to get with the MGs. The old guys, old girls, old generation, old gangsters, they need to be getting with the new one, because these kids is, this social media, they got everything on these phones. I mean, you don't got to go to no library. No library. This is all right there, right? These kids know how to get that knowledge, but they don't know what to do with it. They get overloaded, they get messed out, blasted out, and you don't know what they're looking at because you don't even know how to get into their phone. So there's some tools to keep those generations together. Fathers need to walk with their sons. Mothers need to walk with their daughters. Walk with them to school. Pick them up at school. Not to be monitoring them, but just kind of, you know, hold their hands, hug them. How was you today? Build that bond. It's not just a thing of taking care of them, telling them what to do. It's about being with them and understanding them and being their friend. I wish I, as a father, I understood how important it was not just to be a father, but to be a friend. But I didn't discover that with my children. I discovered it with my grandchildren. At least I discovered it. So Allah knows best. That's what I want to say. Brothers, I'll take another question.
Last question.
Make the last one for the sisters. Brothers only have one. Any other question, brothers?
I got a question for you.
Yes. Are you sitting on the wrong side, though? No, it's okay. I'm just kidding. Excuse me, this is William, right?
Yes.
Okay, William, go ahead.
I'm curious on what life event or the reason behind converting to Islam from Christianity, because I read your profile briefly. I'm privileged to be here.
Don't believe the hype.
I'm curious if there was a
the
specific instance or a certain time in your life, or what propelled you
Thank you.
to look into Islam.
Okay, William, that's a good question. And by the way, that's my father's name. There was no one event. I mean, you know, there was no, what do they call that? When somebody sees a light?
Aha moment.
What do they call that?
The aha moment, there was...
No, it's not. They call it something else. Epiphany. There was no epiphany for me.
So you're born Christian, though?
I was born a Christian, and I'm still a Christian.
Right, understood.
I was born a Christian, and I'm still a Christian. If Christian means loving Jesus. Okay, so I didn't lose that. All I did is Islam came put that in perspective for me. So I heard, well, if there's one event, yeah, Malcolm X, Al-Haj Malik Shabazz, better known as Malcolm X. When he went to Mecca, he wrote a letter back to his sister. In that letter, he talked about Mecca, the station of Abraham, the Quran, the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He spoke about Islam. I mean, and like, I ain't never heard those words. I was on a train. I circled those words. It was in the New York Times. I circled those words. When I went home, I went to an encyclopedia. I read those words. It just opened up on me. I didn't do anything right then. Not right then I didn't. But when I heard Malcolm talking as a Muslim, and I heard his lecture, and then I started examining a few things, 6 months later, after Malcolm was assassinated, he was assassinated in February 1965. I became a Muslim in October 1965. So if there was something that triggered, it was that. But it wasn't because I was intellectual or I was religiously inclined. And I was a Christian. I believe in God. I never thought Jesus was the Son of God. I never believed that. But if that was a game changer for me, it was that letter maybe. But then there was other people, some good Muslims who helped me along and helped me take my Shahada, and that was it. That's when Allah, He knows best. When Allah wants to guide you, He just drops it on you. I hope He drops it on you too.
Thank you.
Any other questions, brothers? The last one, I think Sheikh said. Any other questions? Okay, I just want to thank, yes.
Jazakallah khair, first of all. The life plan that you're talking about, are you going to bring a book so everybody can read?
No, just send me an email and I will send you a free template, a template that I selected and that I modified, and what we use in our life plan coaching. I'll send that to you, to all of you who send me an email, free of charge. You'll have to find your own way unless you want to take the course. You really should have a mentor, but you don't need to. If you're smart and you're dedicated, you can do your own life plan. So just go to skypurpose.com. I'm skypurpose@gmail.com, and we'll send you a copy of your life plan, inshallah. Again, I just want to thank our brother Hamid Awadi, who facilitated this here with the Thai Center, and I want to thank the Thai Center management, staff. Sheikh Hassan, is he here tonight? Huh? Yeah, I want to thank Sheikh Hassan because I came here and visited maybe a few months ago. As a matter of fact, I've been here kind of twice before, and so I know he's one of the main teachers and mentors here. I want to thank everybody that made this happen, and hopefully, because I have an office in Dubai, maybe I can establish, the Purpose of Life Foundation can establish a relationship with the Thai Center, where some of the certificate programs that we do, by the way, which are not free, that we can come here and we can interact with you, inshallah. May Allah bless all of you, and again, I want to thank you so very much.